Hello and welcome to Sports This Morning. I'm Cecilia Amogwe.
I am Tahir Salam. It's great to have you join us again. All right, we're starting off with not so great news coming from the National Sports Festival. It's been said there's no money to host the competition, which is supposed to start on February the 14th.
That's what the governor of the state is saying, that they don't have the funds for it. So the federal government will have to cough out some money for the National Sports Festival to hold this year in Edo State. All
right, also on the show, Cecilia.
Straight to work for Thomas Tuchel. He's at Chelsea, and of course, 18 months contract. That's what he signed. And that's how many months that Frank Lampard was in charge of Chelsea. So they've given him 18 months, and if he doesn't have results, well, he may just be fired as well.
All right, then. Thomas Tuchel, now the new Chelsea manager, as you can see from that picture, went straight to work last night, took his first training session, will be in action later today against Wolves. Also on the show, there was a Milan derby yesterday. It was very fiery between Inter and AC Milan, and Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Romelu Lukaku had a serious clash in that one, as the picture suggests, and they had to be separated by teammates. We'll be talking about that later on the show as well. And I wonder who's going to win a boxing match between these two guys.
We know there's a clear winner. There's a clear winner, there's a clear favorite, because Romelu Lukaku usually is not like this, but Zlatan will come.
Look at the positioning of Zlatan's forehead. Right? It's ready to do damage to his nose.
But he has actually apologized anyway, because I mean, his dismissal actually cost AC Milan that particular loss, because he scored first. I mean, before Lukaku was able to score from the penalty spot, before they got the victory in that Coppa Italia. Okay, that's the way we're starting off the show this morning. We're starting with the NBA, starting with 3 games that were played early hours of this morning.
Yes.
And of course, the NBA world is still celebrating, 1-year anniversary of Kobe Bryant. When I mean celebrating, because what they're celebrating happens to be is what he did for the game. But first, let's take a look at those games that happened in the night. Just about 3 games early hours of this morning. The Clippers as well.
Yeah.
Finally, they lost. Okay.
They lost up to 7. They also 7-game
winning run is over.
Over at the hands of the Atlanta Hawks, led by Trae Young. 38 points on the night for Trae. But for the Lakers, for the Clippers,
13-5 now. But they were without Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, missed the game, safety protocols and all that. Okay.
Exactly. There's also Patrick Beverly, their starting guard, missing as well. So that's a lot of firepower to take out of a single team.
Reggie Jackson was there, led the scoring with just 20 points.
Obviously, if there was Kawhi or Paul George to complement Reggie, they probably win this game, but it wasn't meant to be. Let's move on to the Wizards and the Rockets. It was 107 to 108 in favor of Houston. John Wall scoring 24 points in that victory. And for the Wizards, their terrible season continues. They've won just 3 all season, and it's not looking good at all. They might as well start thinking about tanking the season and start playing for the lottery in the NBA draft for next year.
Well, give it to Bradley Beal. He had 33 points on the night.
On the losing side, yet again. Very important. It's such a shame. He's playing all the best basketball of his career, but his team just cannot buy a win at the moment. Let's move on, lastly but not the least, to the hottest team in the NBA, the Utah Jazz, 108 to 94 over New York Knicks. They had to rally back from that game, from being down in the first half to win this game. It was Rudy Gobert leading the way with 18 points. 19 rebounds, and 4 blocks. Defensive Player of the Year, multiple a few years ago. Before Giannis won it recently. So not surprised at all with his performance on the defensive end. That's a specialty. And you know what I say about defense, winning you a lot of games as well as the championship as well too. Of course, let's not forget his other guy that was there. Donovan Mitchell was in action as well too. He had a very quiet night by standards, scoring just 9 points on 3 of 15 shooting. But because of the way Gobert played, as well as Royce O'Neal, who scored 20 points on the night, they didn't really feel the impact of that quiet game from Donovan Mitchell.
All right, let's get reactions now coming from, of course, Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert.
The biggest thing is, we just kept fighting, kept plugging away. Austin Rivers gets hot. withstanding that, withstanding they hit some tough shots. Like, they hit contested shots, and we came out flat, and then we turned our energy up to come into the half, and we didn't come in with any sort of doubt, and to start to come in at halftime, and to start the third, we just kept going, and you got to credit Royce, Mike, Rudy dominated on the boards. Like, that's huge. That was huge for us. We just kept shooting. Shots not always going to fall, but we kept shooting and kept trying to defend, and we held them to a 13-point fourth quarter. That's who we need to be, and I'm really happy with the way we finished and the way we played as a whole. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not going to be sunshines and rainbows every day. I think that's the best part about this is we're learning, we're finding new instances every game, and how to fight adversity in different ways. And, this was a good win.
When we play defense, even in the nights when we struggle a little more offensively, we're going to be in a position to win the game. And, we kept our focus on the defensive end. We didn't worry about, the missed shots on offense. And all of a sudden, we got more stops and the shots stopped falling.
They're just having fun right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you play, if you play basketball, when you play great defense, it leads to a very smooth and easy offense for you. And that's how happened there for Rudy Gobert. Definitely showing that it's worth all those millions that they gave him.
Of course, when I saw that money, I was like, what? Rudy? Okay, but it's worth it anyway. It's showing it, exactly. 19 boards, that again. Okay, let's leave them and quickly talk about the Houston Rockets, of course. Houston Rockets, yes, you know what we're talking about. Houston Rockets, new era. Victor Oladipo, he's always there. So that's the reason we'll be talking about them this morning. For them, it was, how do you put it now? Yes, it was a good win for them, but playing against Washington Wizards, come on.
Really you still got to beat whoever they put in front of you. And the Washington Wizards are just their bad side, but you still need to go and play against
10
them.
losses.
Exactly. And for the Rockets, it was a very good win. They needed to do that. It was their third straight win as well. So but everyone is looking to see how Victor is going to play with John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins.
And he's getting well.
Yes, so far so good. Played the first game together yesterday, and it ended on a W. Let's listen to Victor Oladipo, John Wall, and DeMarcus Cousins.
I think he can really continue to improve. There's always room for growth, always room to get better. That's our first time playing together ever, so it was definitely an adjustment trying to figure out, where my spots are at, where he's getting his shots, where I'm getting my shots, where I'm playing with the ball, where I'm playing off the ball, and vice versa. So it'll continue to keep getting better as the year goes on. We didn't have no training camp, no time to get used to each other. So it's a process, but we competed, and we're going to compete all year long. And that's one thing we definitely share and have in common is we want to win.
Just trying to figure each other out. Me trying to get my legs back for missing 5 games, and then my first time having an opportunity to play with Vic. And like I told him, when you got the ball, be aggressive, be that scorer, create for us. When times when I do the same. I think we just trying to feed off each other and just trying to get better. But when the game counted, we came up with big plays on both ends of the floor, and that helped us extend our lead a little better.
I think the team is continuing to come together. We're on the right path right now. We got a lot of momentum. Playing good, inspired basketball. The chemistry is increasing with each game. I think we get better with each game. We're finding that flow within our team. So I think it's coming together at the right time.
That's DeMarcus Cousins speaking after yesterday's win over the Washington Wizards. Good to see DeMarcus playing well again.
Yeah.
Because of the injury situations he's had in the last few years now. His playing looks healthy, and we've seen flashes of the old DeMarcus when he was with the Pelicans with Anthony Davis. It's just good. Hopefully, further injuries going forward.
We'll be good to go.
Exactly.
Okay, so tonight we'll look forward to the 76ers and the Lakers, and of course, they're both leaders of the East and the West. For the Lakers, 14-4. And the 76ers, 12-6.
Should be a great game to watch.
A great one.
All right.
All right, staying with the NBA, but this time around, yes, we're remembering Kobe Bryant, the respecting what Vanessa Bryant said about, he wants to remember the husband.
Before then, let's see top performance.
Top performance, come on. You just said, we have a few of them. How many do you have?
Just a couple.
Yeah. Trae Young, of course, is going to be here.
38, 3 and 5. And last but not the least is our guy, Bradley Beal, back on the losing side. 33-5-4. Let's talk about Kobe now. Cecilia, 1 year anniversary of his untimely, tragic passing on. It's still so surreal.
It is.
But we're seeing pictures from California. Lakers fans, basketball fans alike, are coming out to mark this very, very horrible day. That's what it is, Cecilia. There's no two ways about it. And life will not be the same for a lot of these guys because they grew up watching Kobe. Kobe was the man. Kobe was the man for their age group, our age group, the way Michael Jordan was for the older guys and all of that. So, I mean, Cecilia, just emotional scenes coming from LA.
Yeah, emotional scenes there. And of course, we check what most of the clubs have been doing. We're looking at some clubs trying to retire the jersey number 24.
Some have done already.
Dallas Mavericks.
Dallas have done. No one is wearing 24
No
again.
one is going to be wearing 24. I'm like, was it because I remember 2005? No, remember, when Kobe actually had more points than the whole of Dallas Mavericks. I think he had 61 in that game, and Dallas had 60. But then we know they're just trying to. It's just all about respect anyway. So
it's just the fact that Kobe transcended everything. Yeah. Transcended teams, transcended sports, entertainment, all of that. And that's why they're getting all this respect. And you can hear the soundtrack in the background there. Missing you. We're all missing Kobe Bryant. Of course, the Nissa and the girls will be missing him the most this morning. It's very sad. Let's let's listen to what some of those fans have to say.
It's been a year. I don't think anyone's lives have been the same ever since. And just being here, it's like he played here. It's like his home, our home. We watched him since we were little. I think everyone in LA, a part of their heart broke a year ago, and it'll never be the same.
It's not an easy day for all of us, and just want to continue to honor him and his daughter and his whole entire legacy. We're still hurting, we're still in mourning, and we're still grieving.
Yeah, so it's Kobe and Gigi, just kind of how they, how he loved her, just kind of representing his love for her. And I felt like they also had to go together just because, God knew they couldn't be together without each other. So it's just kind of representing their love.
Oh, Cecilia, this has to be the most tragic story in sports in my lifetime. We've had other Chapecoense, the plane crash, Bobson Davis, the Manchester United, players. For my own lifetime, this is it. And because we just saw Kobe just a couple of days before, wishing and
couple of days. I think it was 2 days.
Exactly, a couple of days. Barely 48 hours. Congratulating King James for matching some of his records.
25th, then on the 26th. It's tragic. This
is ridiculous.
Well, it seems he's still around because, he says speeches, he says smiles and all this. You see people talking about him as if he's still very present. Legends live forever. That's it. So he's just one of the legends.
Memories will go on forever.
All the things he did and all that. 65 points against the Portland Trail Blazers. 81, the second most after with Chamberlain and all that. It's a whole lot of 5 NBA championships and all that. 20 years in one club, 18 All-Star. Okay, how many? Where do you start from? It's so much. It's just always in that conversation. And the fact that they just gave it all, the Mamba mentality, you have to leave everything on court. And I was listening to Paul Gasol talking about him. I never knew that they were so close.
They were, of course.
They were so close. He kept that he kept that out of the social media, so to speak, because I didn't know the way he was talking about him and not.
Cecilia, Kobe,
but let's leave.
Just to say, before we leave it there as well, to just still talking about immortalizing Kobe Bryant, the city where he lived in Italy. Because he lived there while his father was playing professional basketball. They've also decided to honor him with a plaza. That was yesterday as well. So, not surprises at all. All of these all in the memory of the Black Mamba. Continue to rest in peace. Cecilia, let's get on with the show now and come back home and talk about
the National Sports Festival. Yeah, not so great news. The National Sports Festival, that's where we're going to next, whereby the governor of Edo State, of course, is the host city, saying that no funds. I mean, there's no funds to host the National Sports Festival.
Like none at all?
None at all, or what? Okay, you know what, let's listen to him, right? Okay, let's hear from him.
How are we going to prepare for the Olympics without Edo 2020? However, can we afford to expose our young athletes, our young people, to the dangers of this pandemic? Will there be other Olympics in years ahead? Should we, because of one Olympics, now not be able to put ourselves into a world? Some people may not be able to participate in other Olympics in the future. I guess these are the things we need to balance. There's no clear answer. I cannot tell you today here that we have an answer for you. But as you pointed out, as a state, we're subnational. We're not the wealthiest. You can imagine what has cost us building those facilities, getting ready for the festival, preparing our athletes, preparing to receive Nigeria, young people of Nigeria. You just imagine what it has cost us. And just about when we had just finished incurring all of that expense, we get hit by COVID, which now calls for another round of spending. And since March last year, you know the financial state of most states, most subnationals, and the country. So I guess these are all the things we need to balance. For us as a state, we are willing and ready to host, but we do not have the funds at this point in time to host. That is the plain truth. But however, if the federal government in its wisdom decides that we can host and they can bring the funding, we'll be all too willing to host the country.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear. FG must fund the National Sports Festival if they want Edo State government to host it. I mean, at the time they were ready, I mean, postponement and all the pandemic happened, so you won't blame most states that really don't have much money because they spend so much money, you know, health and safety protocols and all that, which is more important than the games. But then Edo State said, look, they are ready to host, but FG needs to help them, you know, to fund the games. How many days do we have now? Weeks, right? It's going to be on the February 14th. Yeah. That's when the National Sports Festival will take place. So, Governor Obaseki, that's the governor of Edo State, is telling federal government to bring some money for them to be able to host the National Sports Festival. So what if the money is not forthcoming?
Yeah,
I think the federal government will put in some money.
What if there's a chance that's not the case?
Will the federal government just, I mean, the sports ministry and all that, just look after all the ceremonies and postponements and everything, we're ready to host and all that, then because of maybe some few millions, you can no longer host. I mean, the athletes that have been...
Let's not speculate too much. We'll wait for the response of the sports ministry on this particular situation. But before we go on a break, let's talk about rowing and canoeing and sailing. It happens in Nigeria as well too. And for them, they wouldn't be going to the National Sports Festival if it goes ahead. For whatever reason, they've decided to exclude them. So that's why the president, Admiral Pobeni, has decided to, let's organize a competition for these guys, and still working on trying to see if they can get the sports included outside of 2020.
I mean, how many days do they have now? I mean, just some few weeks. But the athletes are ready. So if they tell them, look, you will be part of it, they will be ready to go. But where is the venue that they will be using? That's where the problem is. That's why the state is like, okay, we'll take it out. But then let's just listen to him talking about the National Sports Festival and also having a competition for these athletes.
Yeah, on 28th, 29th, 30th, there will be Admiral Pobeni boat race, national boat race. And I'm doing it because, unfortunately, we were excluded from the African National Sports Festival in Edo State. And I felt the children have trained so much, and now there'll be no competition for them. My aim now is to make the competition, let them have the competition, and then from there again, work towards Edo, for them to be in Edo 2020. I've engaged the minister, I've engaged the governor. It's a question of some primordial reasons. I've also made arrangement to see that I make the channel, put the lanes in the channel. Also, I should have clear to be wider because the weeds have covered the channel. I'm ready to do that. As a 7 days notice, I put everything on ground for this to continue.
You're welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. You can be a part of the show by, sending your tweets to channels_sports. There's a lot to talk about this morning, starting with the Premier League. Of course, Manchester City are back. Okay, they're actually ending the day on top for the first time this season. Of course, United would have a chance to respond to that later tonight. Arsenal as well too. Perfect, revenge against Southampton after losing to them in the FA Cup. They went to the St. Mary's yesterday and won 3-1. The resurgence continues for the Gunners. And there's a lot to talk about. Cecilia, Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Romelu Lukaku had a clash yesterday in the Milan derby. That was in the Coppa d'Italia, and they had to be separated by teammates before it escalated. I'm just wondering now who's likely to win a boxing match between these two guys. We're not condoning any violence, but we've seen celebrities, celebrity boxing matches and stuff like that. And we're just wondering who's likely to win this fight if it ever happens. Cecilia says there's only one winner already. Maybe you tell us who the winner is later on. Also,
someone has a black belt.
Exactly. Also, Thomas Tuchel, Chelsea fans, that's the new manager, the new mayor at London, at Stamford Bridge. And is it the right man to take Chelsea to the promised land? Promised land, what is it exactly? Is it winning the title or top 4 finish or perhaps an unlikely win in the UEFA Champions League? Talk to us on channels_sports, and we'll be taking your tweets before the show is over. Our guest has joined us now, Ademola Ogunbono. I'll be doing a review and a preview of so many games that will go down across the world in football later today. Ademola, it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you so much, Tayo. Good morning, Cici.
All right, there.
It's to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Always great, Cecilia. Let's
start with the news coming from FIFA, of course, the FIFA Council, talking about the president of Nigerian Football Federation, Amaju Pinnick. He has been cleared so he can, contest for a seat in FIFA Council, which is a great one for Nigeria and, of course, for Africa.
Indeed, great news for Nigerian sport especially, and then for Africa. And then remember, in 2020, he has actually said he wanted to go and contest for the Confederation of African Football presidency. Now going for a council sitting in FIFA. It's a good one for the country. Let's hope he gets it, and it will do the country a lot of good in terms of football.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the letter that was sent to Amaju, all the way from FIFA. When that letter was sent, that's when this is real, because people were talking about the fact that will he be, will he not? But after this confirmation from FIFA that yes, he has been cleared, so he can go ahead. He's fulfilled all the eligibility check and all that. Before you can, be a member of the FIFA Council, you have to go through a whole lot. The integrity test and all that. You have to go through all this. So he was cleared to take part. And after that, he went on Twitter. He needed Nigerians to understand what this is all about.
That's the easiest place to reach out to people and let people know what's going on. So no problems with that. He's come up with a series of tweets, with this information.
Of course, let's start with the first one when he talked about getting support from all Nigerians and all that, and what Nigeria also stands to gain. This is as part of my commitment to keep pushing Nigerian and African football forwards and upwards. I would like to announce that I have now been cleared by the FIFA Review Committee to seek a position on the FIFA Council at the forthcoming elections that is scheduled to hold later this year. And of course, when you have, events like this happening, you understand that, yes, this will happen, and of course, it's a major step in the 43rd Ordinary General Assembly. That's when the event will take place and all that, of 12th of March. Okay.
Is it going to be Rabat, Morocco on the 12th of March later this year? The FIFA Review Committee has extremely stringent integrity, eligibility and security checks, and it is the first. We'll just wait and hope that he eventually gets the seat. It says it's a major step in seeking a seat at the World Football's governing body.
Good one for Nigeria.
So that's it, Cecilia, and we'll just wait for that, and hopefully gets on the FIFA Council. I think what was the last Nigerian? That was the Amos
Adamu,
right?
So and that's why he went for that, to say that since 2014, when he first got into office of the president of Nigerian Football Federation, he said he has always maintained that Nigeria and Africa deserve to be more visible in the administration of world football, and this is the part of the quest. So he's still in that regard that he wants to, contest for that, and he went for that, talked about the financial independence of the board. Said before our board came, Nigerian football was almost 100% government dependent. Now we have attained 60% self-sufficiency, with our drive to be totally financially independent still in effect. So hopefully the next president of the federation will build on what he has done to continue to ensure that, yes, the relationship between Nigeria and the corporate, Nigerian Football Federation and the corporate bodies over time, grow. And of course, with that, we'll be able to have a financial independence whereby you don't have to run to the federal government all the time for money, and of course, cries in the media of the Super Eagles bonuses and all that.
Yeah, we're still getting those cries from time to time.
But with time, I mean, when this is built over time, we may stop having that. So he's hoping for support from all his friends, his critics, and everyone to ensure that he gets into this. I mean, we'll continue to make Nigerian football better. Okay.
All right.
As for that,
let's go and talk about, still talking football, but this time on the pitch, and let's talk about what's going to happen today.
Kano Pillars,
big match. I'm looking forward to it. Very excited to watch Rivers United take on Kano Pillars. And for Rivers United, Ademola, they are in great form. They're very high in confidence. Just absolutely smashed Bloemfontein Celtic. That's in the CAF Confederation Cup. They're going to take on Kano Pillars. So Kano Pillars are a very decent side as well. To start the season, decent enough. So how do you see this?
I must admit that it is going to be really, really tough, considering the fact that Rivers United are playing away. They're in good form, no doubt. Second in the log on the table. Kano Pillars are 10th. They've won 4 games out of 5, lost ones, and they have a considerable goal difference. But seeing that they are playing away, form or not, in the Nigerian league, it is always going to be tough. But we expect them to nick an odd goal, maybe win by 1 or 2. I mean,
odd goal win for Pillars.
For Rivers.
Away from home.
Away from home. It's going to be tough. That's why it is going to be tough. But I expect that with their current form and how they've been playing so far in the season, they should just, if not win, at least get a draw in this
So a draw is the worst result Rivers will get in this game. Very interesting, Cecilia.
See how it pans out, because we checked the last 8 games. Rivers United beating Kano Pillars 2-1 at points. Then there was a goalless game. Then Pillars and Rivers again, another 1-0. Then there was a 2-1. There was a 2-0 in favor of Pillars and all that. So it's been like up and down and all. Rivers win.
Ding dong.
Kano Pillars, ding dong, more like it. And we have more of the 2-1 victory. Just 2-1 victory and more of the goalless and 1-0 draw. So we'll see how it's going to pan out today. So that game will be live on MPFL.TV and also on NTA at 4 p.m. That's when the game will be played. So all Nigerian football lovers, just wait for these 2 crackers that will be taking place today. Will be live. Okay.
All right. Before we leave the MPFL, Cecilia, not palatable news concerning a few clubs that have fallen foul of the rules and they're getting their just reward. I mean, they're getting...
It's really, you know, we keep talking about the fact that sometimes, clubs, I mean, the harassment, we thought it has stopped. But, you know, LMC, I mean, match day 5 of the game between Aqua United and all that, they referees were harassed after the game and all that. And because of that, one of the referee, the second assistant was injured. And so Aqua United, they've been fined 3 million naira because of that. And if you check the breakdown of it and all that, even their coach, you know, even had to go on air, talked about the fact that, look, the referee, I mean, it's criticism of the referee.
How were they able to get on the pitch to go harass referees?
No, it wasn't on the pitch, after the game. So it wasn't on the pitch. That's why we didn't say it. It wasn't after the game why they were going out.
So it doesn't really matter whether it's on the pitch
or not. It was after the game. So some of their contingent, not really the players, not really the players or anything. So as they were going out, that was when it happened. And LMC talked about why didn't they provide enough security to actually guard the referee. That's one of the reasons they were also
that's why they've been fined, because they've not done their job.
Conduct of the managers,
the referees and the officials and every other person at that stadium. But that's it, and that's the reward they get for not putting their house in order. Who else
and their
is
coach, Kennedy Boboyi, also, because, I mean, he also talked about the referee and he wasn't happy over the top criticism of the referee. And because of that, you know, that game against Heartland, whereby they thought, you know, some decisions that were taken, they didn't like that. So, I mean,
we've seen this thing.
That is no justifiable reason for the referees to get attacked. I mean,
no, that's aside. We're talking about the breach. I mean, for Kennedy Boboyi on his own now. Okay. And the father has been banned for one game.
But Demola, we see coaches a lot of the times when things don't go, you know, for them, they tend to, you know, feel aggrieved by certain decisions. We've seen it everywhere across the world.
Definitely.
And they get, if they say too much, they get punished. And that's exactly what has happened to Kennedy.
Well, I guess they'll learn from this and learn to, I mean, the statement that some of these coaches make as well can spur on their supporters to go. And so they need to, they shouldn't throw caution to the wind. Be careful of the kind of statements you make out, that you put out there, because, I mean, we can see what happened in the US, for example. I mean, not talking sport now, where the utterances of people in high places can spoil, and you know, so we should. I mean, they should be very careful of the kind of statement they put out there.
Yeah, that's good, because I love the fact that LMC is actually coming on hard, you know, on these coaches and
rightly
all that.
so too.
He's been fined 250,000 naira and also banned for one game. So I mean, other coaches will learn not to insult referee. I mean, fine, we know referees make mistakes across the world, but that's insult. Sometimes when you listen to coaches talking about referees and all that, if they don't even know their job. It's kind of it's really embarrassing.
It's a very
so that's why they should be fined and also banned from some games. By the time that continues, maybe they will learn how to talk. And also,
Jigawa going to stop coaches.
Jigawa Golden Stars also is another one. I mean, he's been charged breach of the same rule also because of the criticism in the game they played against Aqua United. Criticized the match officials and also failed to, you know, post-match conference. He did not attend. I mean, he did not grant any interview after the game and all that. That was match day 5. So because of that also, he will be banned for 2 games and also fined the sum of 250,000 naira.
All right.
LMC, they need money. So, I mean, they misbehave, they get slapped.
Anyways, enough of all of that. Let's go to England now and talk about the Premier League games that were played yesterday night. Very interesting results. And, of course, Man City, they went to the Altons to smash West Brom by 5-0. But before then, it was West Ham moving into the top 4 with a 3-2 win over Crystal Palace. Thomas Tuchel, what a player, what a season he's having. Defensive midfielder with about 7 goals this season. Leeds United 2-1 Newcastle. Steve Bruce is under immense pressure.
Ex-manager to be fired.
It looks like he might just be getting his the pink slip any moment from now. Also winning on the night is the Gunners. The resurgence continues for them. 3-1 over Southampton at St. Mary's. Kaya Saka was on target in that game. There was also Nicolas Pepe and
Lacazette.
Alexander Lacazette was in great form, fair enough to him. Of course, we want to talk about Manchester City and their great run of form. Cecilia, they're looking very good for the title. They are my favorites to win it, not United. And if you look at what they've been doing in the last couple of weeks now,
10 games.
They've won 7 consecutive top-flight games for the first time since August 2019. That's ridiculous. I don't think any team has won 7 in a row this season at all. None, right?
At least there should be a draw in between.
But
they've not lost in 10 games
overall.
And they're scoring goals for fun as well.
And they're not conceding.
You're not conceding. 10.
I mean, it speaks volume for the forgotten man of Man City before, John Stones, coming in and making that back line very tight and solid for Guardiola. I'm sure Guardiola is a happy man. I mean, keeping Laporte out of the team for now, I mean, that speaks volume. And he's scoring as well, John Stones. So good one for him.
Well, let's talk about this guy, Aiga Gundogan. A few last week when, what's his name? Kevin De Bruyne went down. A lot of people were like, oh my goodness, City are going to suffer now. But this guy steps up in the last few games now. Scored about 6 goals in his last 8 games now. Scored how many yesterday?
2 goals yesterday.
And the others as well too.
And not to forget Bernardo Silva. He was on for 60 minutes. He had his twists and turns causing problems for West Brom defense. They couldn't touch him, and for 60 minutes was on the pitch. He did a yeoman's job, and good one for Man City yesterday.
Good one indeed. And Pep Guardiola, of course, is a happy man this morning, and but he's not getting carried away that they're on top of the league because there's still so many games to play.
Yeah, really good. What we want is a movement in the right moment. And what we want is move the ball more than our movements. But it's true that the right tempo, the right moment, our players make the movements were so good, especially up front. The last thing I'm thinking is about the table. Now I'm going to come back home safe, few days off, and Sheffield United is the only I'm concerned. Today just finished the first round. First leg, so we have still 19 games. It's an incredible marathon. We are going to drop points. We're going to lose games. And important is what happened. Be calm, like we were when we were 12 in the table. Understand why we didn't win that game, and immediately win the next one. This is the only I'm concerned right now.
Pep Guardiola not getting carried away at all. It's all about looking forward to the next game, trying to get a win in that one as well. That's all Pep Guardiola. Let's spare thoughts for Sam Allardyce. Big Sam was brought in to save the bacon of West Brom, but so far not so good because they've conceded 22 goals in the last 5 Premier League games on home soil. One of the games Sam handled was against Leeds. They got smashed in that
5-0.
Incredible.
And another 5 again.
That's 10.
So the last 5 games, they've been beaten 10.
Yeah,
they've considered
10 goals.
Yeah, 10 goals in 2 games. I mean, the last 5 games. So in all, that's why you have that win.
I mean,
Sam Allardyce is no longer the genius because he was. I
feel sorry for Samuel Ajayi.
That's what Pep said. Yeah, when Pep starts to praise you before a game is about to smash you, that's what he does. You know, Pep. Anyways, Ademola, Sam never gone down in his career.
I think this time around there's no escaping for Sam Allardyce. The only escape route for him, I feel, is if he resigns so he can keep that record intact. Because I don't see him keeping West Bromwich Albion, in the Premier League come the end of the season. I don't see that happening.
So you're thinking West Brom actually made a mistake because, I mean, when this same set of West Brom, although then Man City were about floundering and all that, they've not really put themselves together, so to speak. I mean, it was a draw, and that was at Etihad.
On the back of that, they got
11 exactly. After that, he was fired, and Sam Allardyce was rotten. And since then, they've won just one game against Wolves.
Yeah.
And the way the Premiership is now, all teams are very strong. Everybody's fighting, a battle for their lives to, stay in the Premier League. But this time around, I don't see Sam walking that wonders again.
You don't see him surviving this one. Sam Allardyce is the first manager since Chris Ramsey at QPR, that was in 2015, to lose his first 4 home Premier League games in charge of a club. It's not great at all, not looking good for Big Sam, but there's still games to play. And Cecilia already said West Brom, Fulham, and
Sheffield
are going down.
Yes.
We'll see about that. We need to go on a break now. When we come back, we'll be talking about Yeah, we'll be taking a lot of your tweets. They're coming in already. We'll see what you have to say about Thomas Tuchel as the new manager of Chelsea. Of course, we'll preview the match today between United and Sheffield. Welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. Let's take a look at what's happening at Stamford Bridge. Thomas Tuchel is now the new coach of the Blues, now replacing Frank Lampard. And it's straight to work for this guy. Came into the country yesterday, signed his contract, and he's going to be in charge of the game today against Wolves. That's very, very short time frame.
I don't expect him to come and wield the magic wand. I mean,
Straight
this
away.
is the Premiership we're talking about. Yes, he's a proven coach. He's done it at Borussia Dortmund, done it at PSG. But we all know the Premiership is a different ball game entirely. And your first game, I mean, baptism of fire against Wolves, it is going to be tough. But I expect that him coming in and with his, pedigree where he's coming from.
Yeah.
And again, the German core of Chelsea's team, I expect that maybe when he speaks his language to them.
What's the call? What's the call here?
I mean,
Kai,
Timo Werner, Kai Havertz,
Pulisic also came in from
Germany. Yes.
He's American,
and then
but
Rudiger as well.
Rudiger as well.
Rudiger as well. So there's a German core there.
Okay.
So let's
I wanted
hope.
to know what the core is.
Because these are the guys we're expecting them to perform. Timo Werner, I mean, they were bought with, loads of money. And so far, they are not paying that return for Roman Abramovich. So let's hope that he can come in and wield magic and get them to start performing as they should. Because after spending so much money, I mean, over £250 million, you expect that Chelsea team should be at least formidable and should be up there, gunning for the title. But that is not the case now, and that is why he's been brought in to come and see if he can perform some bit of magic for Chelsea. At least, get them to the
No
Champions League.
manager's got the magic wand, though. I always say that. It's not magic.
It's just all about performance. Your players need to play on the field and all that. But his job will start tonight. He was at the training last night after he was unveiled and all that. His job will start tonight against Wolves. So let's take a look at the fixtures for today. Manchester United will be up against Sheffield United, of course. We'll see if United will be able to beat Sheffield at Old Trafford. They go back to top of the table. Then you have other games for tonight. Burnley and Aston Villa will also be in action. Chelsea and Wolves, Brighton and Fulham are some of the games for tonight. Flip over to other games for tonight where you have the United and the Sheffield.
Yeah.
And of course, those are the games to look forward to today. And for, Tuchel, wish him all the best in that one. But Ole has been talking about the fact that, look, his board, Manchester United board, actually backed him. And that's the reason he still has a job.
That's
because
a fact.
Because he was backed. There was a time you were thinking this man will be fired.
Yes.
But they stood by him. And now they're having some good results.
Yeah.
Even if, people are still doubting United being able to win the league and all that because of his inexperience and everything. And of course, because of the way Manchester City actually playing right now, you don't expect Pep to want to get off that so easily. So for Ole, he was really giving that backing.
It was. And like, I mentioned last week, if you can remember, that I expect Chelsea to give the same time, for Lampard,
right?
Because he was really floundering. I expected that. Give him the benefit of the doubt. Let him, a chance to turn things around. But we all know Roman Abramovich is not a very patient man, So, and going, 5 games without a win and losing games here and there, games they should ordinarily win. And, they had to give him the sack.
So let's just, the bottom line is, let's just switch roles. If Roman was the owner of Manchester United, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Ole would have been long gone.
There you go. Anyways, let's take a listen to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now speaking about why he's been very, very lucky to be the manager of Manchester United, as well as their recent form ahead of tonight.
And we knew that we were going to have some rough and patchy periods, and they stood strong. Of course, I've had good backing from the club, and the leadership have been very steady, which I feel very grateful for, because we've been through 2 or 3 really bad spells of form. Of course, our form, it's come through hard work, through the coaching, through the work the players have done. We knew the beginning was going to be hard for us, and it just fell so that we had a few difficult home games to start with, and the circumstances in those games were hard for us to overcome. Now, The form is good, the mood is good, confidence is good, squad is fit and healthy. So we're in a good moment, of course, which you've got to enjoy. But then it's focus on the next one. That's the only thing that matters.
Yeah, this guy's in the studio. I mean, okay. Yeah, we're talking about how fresh.
Yeah, I mean, it looks great. Like the early beginnings of the season. Yeah,
older than his age. Look at him now, you know.
Anyways, tonight is against Sheffield, the bottom club. Do you expect United to get 3 points, or do you expect any kind of upset in this one?
I don't see any. I don't see any upset coming.
Okay.
Nah, I don't see.
All right, let's take some tweets before we look at the papers. Bosun says Tuchel coming will stem the tide of losses and help put some sparks back into the team, but I don't see him lasting more than 2 seasons based on the mode of operation of the owner. Okay, but if he's winning, he will stay. Noble Flyerman says taking the MPFL to at least 20% level of the EPL is a collective responsibility. Coaches should stop inciting the players and supporters, and LMC should calm down hard rather than this slap on the wrist punishment. And the guy is actually United fan. He says we'll demolish Sheffield tonight and reclaim top spot. I mean, there's, there's there. Gerard Ikuku says, my expectations very high as I await Man United coming back to top position after today's game. Dr. Kenneth says the last West Brom coach drew a City and Liverpool and got sacked, only to bring in Big Sam, who has so far conceded truckloads of goals. I'm wondering why the English press is not as critical of him as they are to foreign coaches.
We know why. Yeah, you already answered
of course.
question.
Adio says, the latest news about the National Sports Festival is disheartening. These days, everyone seems to blame their failures on COVID-19. Pathetic. Okay, HKZ says, the LMC has brought sanity to the MPFL by dispatching punitive measures against erring clubs and personnel. I just hope that the accused were given fair hearing. Okay, they have 48 hours to respond, to appeal or respond, whatever they want to do. And Idris Abiola says, Thomas Tuchel's first task in his new job is to guide Chelsea to a top 4 Premier League finish, which I believe he should be able to achieve, even though it seems tough. He has the technical and tactical wherewithal. He has managed top club before. Okay, so that's a good one.
Top clubs. He's managed
PSG, Borussia Dortmund. So they're top clubs, and these are clubs that usually win. Okay, let's quickly take a look at the papers.
Let's look at the papers. Look at the papers quickly. You saw what happened between Zlatan and Romelu Lukaku yesterday. Not great scenes at all for football.
Not great scenes, and the kind of language that was being thrown back and forth. I mean, not acceptable. Not acceptable. But I don't think
has apologized.
He has, and that's. I mean, it shows he's a big man, not a small man. But I don't think Lukaku wants to go. When it comes to fist fighting with...
Why not? He's a big lad as well.
Black belter?
Yeah.
Exactly, I mean, that guy
he's a martial artist. Yes.
Do you understand?
Oh my goodness. He has a black belt.
Don't even try.
You don't want to go there with him.
Only one winner. But that game in any favor of, Inter Milan and Coppa Italia.
Safe to say, Romelu Lukaku won the war.
Of course, he won the war. On the field.
Yeah.
Right, papers now. Complete Sports. We're starting with that one. Complete Sports. There you have Audio Ingalo. Once they red, always they red. His time at United is over, so he's leaving. Complete Sport. That's what I'm looking at right here. So he's really grateful. So he posted this emotional farewell, on his social media account, telling the fans he actually enjoyed his time there. He lived his dream, and of course he will go back to China. Onuachu seeks to end Gang's 4-game winless run. He's scoring, but the club has not won their last 4 games. So just want something. Look, man, we must raise our performance as Brighton and Fulham tonight. We'll see what Lukman can bring to the party.
All right, Sporting Life quickly. Osimhen's Carlos Simon's return excites Raw. Okay, that's for the Super Eagles and for the African qualifiers coming up pretty soon. There's also Aribo listed. All right, so that's the SPL team of the week. That's in Scotland. Chelsea favorite to sign up in Meccano. Odegaard completes Arsenal medical. Perhaps this guy will help the Gunners finish in the top 4. Tottenham approach Di Maria over free transfer.
Okay. Lastly, Jose wants to bring his guy back. All right, Sporting Sun, because his best time was actually under Jose at Real Madrid. Sporting Sun is the last one. They have this one. Lampard Lament says he's disappointed, and Leicester boss says Iheanacho is not for sale. Okay,
Disappointed,
it will be
not
fit for
surprised.
Leicester clash today. So we're having Everton and Leicester today. That's another top game to watch out for. And D Tigers open camp for 2021 AfroBasket qualifiers. Well, that's all we can take on the show today. Demola, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate your time, Demola.
Thank
Thank you for watching as well. Enjoy the rest of your day. I am Tayo Salam.
I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Thanks for watching.